Hi and welcome back to So Blessed by Jess, and in today's video we are uncovering some unpopular quilting opinions. Now, the opinions expressed herein are strictly my own opinion and are not taken as a personal attack on your fabric stash, beloved tools, or grandmother's quilting methods. If I say batiks are overrated, I'm not saying your batiks are ugly. If I admit I don't pre-wash my fabrics, I'm not sabotaging your washing machine. If I call perfection overrated, I still admire your razor sharp edges. Quilting is a deep personal art. And what brings one quilter's joy may make another quilter twitch. Please watch this video with a sense of humor, a thimble of salt, and the understanding that at the end of the day, all quilters are welcome. You guys are. And so here are 3 things that I feel that are unpopular quilters' opinions. The first one being batiks are overrated. A lot of quilters adore batiks. Their whole stash is created in batiks. They have bold colors. They're hand dyed for uniqueness. But some people say that they're too muddy or stiff and hard to blend with other fabrics. Saying this out loud in a quilt shop may cause gasps and feel like you're insulting someone's prized possessions. I just feel that they're a little too waxy and too stiff. Because of dyeing process, batiks often feel less soft and drapey than regular quilting cotton. Some quilters say that it's even harder to sew and does not press as easily as cottons do. Some batiks are bold, but sometimes translate, depending on how small you need to cut it, can be a little muddy or maybe even overly busy, depending on how big or small that you have to cut the fabric, without any clear focal points. They can overwhelm a quilt rather than enhance it. They always don't play well with others. Mixing batiks with traditional quilting cottons or prints can look like a mismatch at times. The texture, the colors, the saturation clash, making designing just a little bit more trickier. Many batiks lean heavily on organic, abstract, or repetitive motifs, leaves, dots, swirls. Quilters prefer maybe some florals or novelty prints. I mean, I'm not saying that a leaf and a dot and a swirl are bad in any way. It's very repetitive when it comes to batiks, which is, your own opinion. This is mine. And I just like to represent lots more in my designs. And lastly, is the price even worth it? Because the hand dyeing process, that means batiks are a lot more expensive, or could potentially be a lot more expensive than our quilting cottons that we have per yard. Quality doesn't always equal the extra cost. So again, that's my own opinion on batiks. Another one I have is not every quilt has to be heirloom quality. There's so much pressure in the quilting community that every piece should last for generations and generations and be museum worthy, quilt show worthy. But some quilters believe that it's fine to make a quick quilt with cheaper fabric, tie it instead of quilting, and not worry about perfect seams. Is this a controversy? To some, this attitude might cheapen the craft. Others, it feels like freeing. So, quilts are meant to be used and not just hanging on our wall. Like, I can't wait to use this guy behind me. I'm just going to enter it in a couple more shows, and then I will be wrapping snugly in it, or maybe even giving it away to a special friend. So quilts are too precious. They need to be snuggled, dragged to a picnic, tossed in the wash, and instead of living its life, folded away somewhere in a closet, not being seen for many, many moons. Time is valuable. It is. We spend a lot of time behind our machines and hand stitching every seam, perfectly matching points, and not only using premium fabric for months or even years collecting to make it. Not every project deserves a level of investment and has to be done perfectly. You know what? Some of my favorite quilts are just done very quickly, and they're just so soft and comfy, and I love it. Quilts are meant to be for kids, pets, you guys, real life. And I don't care. Put it in a car. Let it wait. Little ones will spill juice, sauce, food all over your quilt. Pets will take naps. Quilts will end up in the grass with grass stains. But what isn't it? Just a quick wash and is off to the races again. Don't have the pressure for heirloom quality. Quilters often feel freer when they experiment with bold colors, weird layouts, and fabric choices without worrying about ruining something scarce. I've seen so many beautiful quilts lately that are just so scrappy. Oh my word, scrappy is happy, and I love it. And people are just exploring the options. There's so many, the improv that I've been seeing lately is just amazing, especially with all the quilt shows that I've been to, and it's just fabulous. And you just keep going, and I love it. I love it. And lastly, legacy should not be the only goal for every single quilt. Not every quilt needs to be passed down for generations and generations. Some are just meant to keep somebody warm for a day, and it's perfectly valid, and comfort equals perfection. And my last unpopular quilt opinion is hand quilting isn't inherently better than machine quilting. And this is okay. Many traditional quilters out there view of hand quilting a quilt someday, having it on a huge loom hanging from the ceiling, or like they did back in the 1800s, where they would have pulley system and it would hang up above the table, and then when dinner was over and everyone was around the fire or going to bed, mom and the daughters would lower the quilt and start hand quilting the next piece for their home. Even though hand quilting is much faster, more precise, and often creative. I mean, look at all the computer just generated patterns we have now. It's just beautiful. All of the things that we have going on. So are we suggesting that hand sewing is more valuable than just using a pantograph on a long arm, or using your domestic and creating simple hatch marks and lines? You tell me. This can cause quite a serious side eye in any quilting guild. So, is hand quilting inherently better? Sometimes speed matters. we're down to the sewing, we're down to the sewing of time. That baby's about to be here. We have a graduation present to give. Machine stitching only takes hours instead of the dedicated weeks and months that we would need for hand stitching. For our busy quilters' lives, because many of us quilters, we have day jobs, a 9 to 5, or we're working second or third shift, and we come home and we have families to take care of, and we only have a couple hours to stitch every night. We do have a backlog of UFOs just waiting in the wings for their day to be quilted. So we need to take that advantage using a machine. The durability between hand stitching and machine stitching. Machine stitches are often stronger and more consistent than hand stitching. Let's face it, it is. Making quilts more resilient for daily use, because not every quilt needs to be an heirloom, because we have frequently washing, rowdy grandkids. They're in the car, your dog's ripping them up. Flash. Also, like I stated before with pentagraphs, there's so many design opportunities that we have for free motion, ruler work, computerized patterns. It's beautiful. And is it impossible to do it by hand? Absolutely not. You can do all of those pentagraphs and designs by hand. They just take weeks and months to do, especially when you're doing it on your own. It'd be amazing to be around a loom with wonderful women just telling stories about their lives, learning from them. But face it, that doesn't happen as much anymore. We always think our lives are busier than the rest. And we just, we just take priority, and when we can fit it in, we fit it in. And does it really define a quilt's worth in the end? A quilt's value comes from the maker intent, creativity, and love that was stitched into it, whether it was machine or hand done. Not every tool needs to be used. So preferring hand quilting over hand stitching, it's okay. It's absolutely okay. So please remember, as I get back to my disclaimer, that these opinions are strictly mine and should be taken no personal attack from you. Because we all have our opinions on quilting. We're all not going to agree on everything, and that is absolutely 100% okay. So remember, all quilts are welcome, and I welcome your opinions too. Absolutely, 110%, because it's a deep art that I have and that I love and that I cherish, and I love learning off of everyone. Not every one of us is going to sew and quilt and use the same thread, material, machines as everyone else. We all have our preferences, and we need to respect it, and that is okay. It feels like I'm talking to my fourth graders. Respect each other. But please always have a sense of humor, a thimble of salt, and understanding that at the end of the day, all quilts are valid and all quilters are welcome.